Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture for this Monday, September 4th, 2023. And this is a special episode for Nerds on Culture as we dive a little deeper into personal characters from the Marvel Universe, kicking it off with Doctor Doom, a character that has been known to maintain a stronghold and presence throughout the Marvel Universe and has had battles with the best of them, caused battles for others and everyone else involved in the universe, and has stood alone. A man who has gone into the depths of hell and have come back to tell a story. So, Dr. Doom, I thought would be a tremendous character to initiate going into personal characterizations from the comics of characters that we enjoy reading about. Some of them have had their cinematic impact. This character in particular has yet to have the ultimate telling of his story, but I do believe there's still time, as a Fantastic Four film is still in the works and plans of a future with Marvel. So we can look forward to something and see Doctor Doom on the screen, I believe, in a way that we've never seen him before. So with all of that being said, I want to introduce my partner in crime here in Nerds on Culture. We got my brother Drew Titan in the building. What's going on with you, man? How you doing?
Salute, salute. You know, I was looking forward to this one.
Yeah, man. Dr. Doom, I tell you something. I was reading up on him just recently. I was just, for lack of a better word, marveling at his story, his accomplishments, the intelligence of this man, and how he can go basically toe to toe with almost any character in the Marvel universe. His feats of accomplishment and his survival ability, his ability to survive the worst of scenarios by the elevated thought process of his psychological being, and even with gifts that not only through invention but intuitive. You know, what a character. And at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if they just come forward and say he's a mutant. You know what I'm saying? Because that would explain a lot, right? If they just came one out and said, well, really, Dr. Doom is actually a mutant. They've tested his DNA and, there it goes. So, but yeah, man, those are some of my opening thoughts about it, but I'd like to hear some of what you got to say to open things up about Victor Von Doom.
I want to, y'all, everyone listening, you need to know that in every story that I've read throughout the years, Marvel always goes off on, they always do these scenarios where it's like way in the future, and when it's like a post-apocalyptic situation, I noticed that there's always a couple of guys that are always around, no matter how bad things have gotten. I mean, bad to the point where there's no heroes and there's no villain. I always noticed that Dr. Doom is always one of the last people around. And it's like, how could this be? I mean, people are just dead all over the place. It's always the Hulk and Dr. Doom. It's like, how is he? There was a book that, the Old Man Logan series in the comic book. The United States was broken off into 3 different territories. One was the Hulk, one was for Kingpin, and the other one was Dr. Doom. And what got me going nuts was he didn't do anything in the book. You just saw him standing there with his arms folded, and we were like, what the F? They didn't even expand on the story about how he rose into power. But this guy takes the term evil genius to a whole new level. In the comic books, there's genius level of thinking. Reed Richards, Tony Starks, a couple other guys. They even put Peter Parker. He's a bit of a genius. But Dr. Doom is right up there. And this guy is a problem. He's done things like he's stolen the power cosmic a few times. How do you do that? If y'all don't know what that is, just look. Just know that he took something from Galactus. Well, actually, he took it from the Silver Surfer. And it's like, how the hell did you do that? You know, but he's dangerous. This guy is a problem. And he's quote unquote human. But like Stormy said, I wouldn't be surprised if they flip the story and say, oh yeah, by the way, he's a mutant. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, that explains everything. But this guy is a genius. And he's really not, like, as comics has matured, he's not really a villain if you think about it. But he's not a hero either.
Yeah, he's like an anti-hero.
Anti-hero.
He's in between. Like, he can team up for selfish and personal reasons and advancements, or he could turn his back and let things play out and go and pick up the pieces. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's who he is.
That's who he is.
That is who he is, you know?
They are I might be getting a little ahead, but they've goofed him up in every adaptation in live action films. They haven't done him justice. Those are Fantastic Four films. They didn't do him justice at all. I understand that they're introducing him, and they're gonna do it in an epic way, and that's how they should do it, because Dr. Doom is a problem in the comic books. And go ahead and look at what I'm talking about. In every apocalyptic future in Marvel, big heroes are dead, like Thor. Like big heroes are dead, and somehow you say, "Oh, who's over there? Oh, that's Dr. Doom." How is he alive? This guy's dead. Ghost Rider's dead. These Norse gods are dead. Hercules is dead. Dr. Doom's over there in a building somewhere. How? Yo, he's that, like, sick, like mentally. Like he's that. When I say sick, I mean like in a good way. He can outthink you. He's a problem, and the only guy that rivals him as far as like academically was Reed Richards, because he's like genius. Reed Richards is a genius. I remember I was reading a comic where they locked Reed Richards they locked him in a room, and they said, "Well, did you pat him down, make sure he's not in there or anything?" He says, "No, he just has a piece of paper and a pen." And they said, "No, get that off of him." It was like, why? It was like, yo, he might make a laser cannon out of that. Because they was like, no, that's how smart he was. So it was like but Dr. Doom is that, like, he's that smart. So I mean, that's my opening thoughts on Dr. Doom. He's like a villain, and once you understand what he is, you kind of like appreciate it. And I can't wait to see if they get it correct moving along in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they need to do him proper justice. They really do.
I had heard a person who is far more into the comics more than I am, in a discussion on YouTube. He was talking about Dr. Doom and being a villain, and who he would have been the perfect foil for. And the person was saying that he's actually perfect for Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Dr. Doom is Iron Man gone bad, and with more ability as far as him being like a sorcerer, you know, being able to handle the mystic arts. So Doom is kind of that way. And what I was surprised at was the fact that though he has a very strong armor that he uses, I was surprised that he didn't go the route for adamantium or you know, vibranium or something like that, because he, you know, equipped with that. I mean, we remember how dangerous and I'm only talking about the film now, but in Avengers Age of Ultron, when Ultron got his vibranium body,
Yeah.
you know, imagine Dr. Doom there, you know, and that would have been very interesting. And I'm surprised that they didn't use, you know, from Age of Ultron, you know, the Sokovia circumstances and events. I'm surprised they didn't tie that into Latveria, you know, where he's from, because that would have been perfect, because he will have a perfect reason to have vengeance and be against the Avengers and any of the heroes, you know what I mean? Because of what happened in Sokovia. And even in what was the Marvel miniseries with the character played by you know, the guy that was kind of cuckoo. I can't think of his name right now.
Baron Zemo?
No, the brother, the guy who was kind of psycho. They just had the miniseries. Moon Knight. There we go.
Moon Knight. Yes.
I'm surprised that they didn't tie that in, because, you know, he was out there in that area near where Doom was and everything, and they didn't bring him in, you know. And I'm like, dang, what are they waiting for, man? They, you know, and finally when they do bring him in, it's gonna be hell to pay. I was looking up his stats. They say that he's like 6 foot tall. And when he puts his armor on, he's like 6'7".
Yeah,
you know, and that's kind of like Tony Stark as well, because when he's in the Iron Man, you know, Tony, they'll say he's 6 foot in the movies, right? But Robert Downey Jr. is not 6 foot tall. He's like 5'8" or something like that. But of course, when he puts the Iron Man armor on, he's like 6'3" or something. You know, he's much bigger. And so same with Rhodey. But yeah, those armors, man, you know, it would have been just interesting. And maybe they were thinking, because they had Ultron and Iron Man, and they didn't want to do too much with armored people, but
they're bringing Ultron back, right?
Yeah, I think that he's going to be back, but not as a major, but as a tie-up. You know, they're going to bring him. But
I wouldn't put it past Doom.
The kind of character that comes back anyway, so it's like,
I wouldn't put it past Doom to override something and then take control of the clones and make them Doom bots.
Or something like that, yeah. And you remember when we saw in, what was that, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, when we got a chance to see the Illuminati Council, Reed Richards and, you know, Professor X, and those guys, we did see some of those Stark bots.
Yes.
Escorting Stephen Strange to the Illuminati. Remember they showed that? And it's like, so that was Superior Iron Man. That was his army. And you remember in Age of Ultron, Tony Stark was telling he was telling Banner, he was like, I want to have a suit of armor around the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
So in Superior Iron Man actually accomplished that, but we didn't see Superior Iron Man in the film. So that's still something that can come down the pipeline as well. So they've left a lot of loose ends where they,
and I think they did that on purpose.
Maybe, yeah.
I think they did that on purpose.
And it's interesting because in in the new Captain America film, they're bringing back multiple characters from the film Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
They're bringing Betty Ross back. They're bringing the leader back.
The leader, yep.
And, you know,
thank goodness.
Dude, that's going to be interesting, man,
That's
to
gonna
see
be
what happens
insane.
with that. What do we have here? I'll put it up.
That right there is from Marvel versus Capcom 2. After you use him, he's a playable character. If you when they did the Avengers video game, right? The Infinity video game. The two bosses at the end of the game were Dr. Doom. He was a mini boss, and then Thanos was the last boss of the game. They made them playable characters in Marvel versus Capcom 2. And when you pick Dr. Doom and you win, this is one of the winning poses. That's the Doom. That's him on the throne with the Doom bots and the two. I mean, come on, man. It don't get no better than that. When they made him a playable character, come on, bro. Man, this is it right here. Y'all already know how I do with the video games. This is it right here. I was like, man, this is all I asked for, man. This is it right here. Yeah. Dr.
Doom is, you know, like I said, the more that you look into him, the more you just become enamored with, like, damn, this guy he's incredible.
Yeah, man, this guy, this guy, I mean, this is a character right here. This is a character. Yeah, so they could go any direction, and I'm very, very, very I'm very curious because we've read it by now. They're gonna incorporate him and trying to say he was behind pulling the strings with the Wakanda versus the Atlanteans, if they don't call them that in you know
right.
MCU, but they're trying to say that he was behind that, like pulling the strings behind that. And you won't know.
Allegedly, there was some like some, what do they call it? Story art for the film that shows Doom talking to somebody. And yeah, but it didn't get released, you know, through Marvel, but somehow it leaked onto the internet. Let's see if I could pull that up.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Let me see if I could pull that image up. Go ahead and talk. I'm going to see if I can find this real quick.
Another, when I was first introduced to Dr. Doom in the animated form, it was the Fantastic Four television series from Hanna-Barbera World of Super Adventures. And that's a very underrated cartoon. I think that came out in the 60s. By the time I saw them, of course, they were all reruns. I think that came out in the 60s or whatever. We need to speak about that. That character, when you read about it, you know, this guy is a problem, man. And I can't wait to see. When I say problem, I'm talking about as far as for him being human, for him to generate this much of a ruckus, like a multi-dimensional ruckus. This is how much of a genius he is. I can't wait to see what they do. You know, and again, you think Kang is bad. I mean, Dr. Doom provides a whole different level of threat. Now, I can't wait to see how they incorporate him. Because like Stormy said, he can either be the situation, or he could he'll sit back and he'll wait and pick up the pieces after a war is over. You understand what I'm saying? Damn, so much to say about this character, man. I just can't wait to see what they do with him. I can't wait to see what they do with him, man.
Can we see this?
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it.
Okay.
Really?
That's concept art from behind the scenes at Marvel Studios. Now, somebody is saying that that's a concept art of Doom, and he might be standing there speaking to Gravik.
Oh,
you know Gravik from
Gravik. Scroll.
Now check this out. I'm gonna show also a secondary image. You can see the back of that guy's head, right?
Yeah.
You kind of see his haircut. Now look, here's the image of
Gravity.
gravity.
Yep. That's right.
You see? So they were saying, you know, theories are that's Doom talking to Gravik right there.
Wow.
And that's concept art from Marvel.
They may be keeping him a secret, because when they want to have a release for him, they want it to be epic. And they have a lot of things to work with now. You know, they've already introduced Submariner and his people, the Wakandans. You know, they've killed off certain characters, they've resurrected others, and they're going to introduce adamantium in a particular way too.
Right, and that might be when we get to see him, because remember the storyline that they've already let us know is that you know, Julia Dreyfus's character, she's helping to put together the Thunderbolts, right? But they also, everybody's going to be going after that adamantium from that skeleton of that
The Eternal.
the Eternal, right? Because they're finding out that that's where they could get that metal from. So everybody's going to be looking into getting that and acquiring it. And of course, Victor Doom, if he's out there, he's going to be wanting that as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he might make Doom bots out of it. Who knows? But at the same time, you're going to have all these factions going after that. And like you said, if he is behind the Wakandans having a war with the Atlanteans, of course, they're not calling them the Atlanteans in the MCU now, but if he's having setting those forces off against each other so they can deplete and he can step in, you know,
Right.
and do what he intends to do. But I'm very curious about this concept art right here, bro. I really am. You know, and that's pretty much comic accurate.
Yeah. I think as of late, we're going into phase 5 or 6 now. We're going into phase 6, right? In the MCU, right? Or we're still in the middle of 5, but we're going into phase 6. I believe they're trying. It's as of late. It seems that they, as far as certain things, they're becoming more comic book accurate as far as uniforms is concerned, and origins.
Yeah, because we saw the behind the scenes for Deadpool 3 with Wolverine, how he's
Right.
gonna look. He's looking just like he looked in the comics,
Right.
with the exception he's gonna have sleeves instead of sleeveless.
Right. Now, they're always gonna tweak origin stories. The original origin story of Dr. Doom is very simple. He was in college with Reed Richards. They were both geniuses, and he's kind of envious of Reed. And he did an experiment in college or something, and it exploded, and it ruined his face, and he was thrown out of school. He was, you know, he blamed Reed Richards for making a mockery of him, and then he went out to some place in like Asia somewhere and went to a mountain with some monks or whatever, and they made this iron mask, and they heated it up, and when they threw it on his face, he didn't want them to cool it off. He's disfigured underneath the mask. He ran out into the snow and cooled it off. He fell into some snow and cooled it off, but he just permanently disfigured his face. But he blamed Reed Richards for all of that personal heartache. So, you know, that's the sick part of him. So he became the Fantastic Four's, like, I think their second, like, actual, like, threat. I think their first threat was the Mole Man.
Yeah.
Interesting character, but I think the second one was Dr. Doom. But since his creation was like in the 60s, I believe, they have, the character has gone through some tweaks and everything like that. The character, you got to know him you got to know who Victor Von Doom was as a person. And it's actually frightening. You know what I'm saying? This guy, I mean, this guy, I mean, the mind of him is like crazy. It is insane. This guy, when you can trick Asgardians and steal the power cosmic, I mean, that's just unheard of things.
You know what's interesting too is the fact that during the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, you know, they didn't follow up on Janet's powers that she developed when she went into the quantum realm and was down there all those years. Because remember when she came back and she kind of was healing Ghost? Remember that?
Yeah.
And in the third film, they didn't pick up on those storylines. They just showed her when she came across some familiar subjects from the quantum realm, you know, they were interacting and everything. Of course, that's where we saw Bill Murray's character and all of that. But if you go back to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, when he was brought before the Illuminati Council and they introduced John Krasinski as Reed Richards from a different universe.
Right.
And he said, didn't you guys chart during the 60s? And Krasinski kind of nodded his head like, yeah, but that was all that was said. So for Stephen Strange to be aware of Reed Richards, at least, because they said Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four, you know, and he said, didn't you guys chart in the 60s? So that means that somewhere on the books, Reed Richards and some knowledge of him is available. Now, I had heard stories that they were going to say that instead of going through a cosmic storm, they received their powers when they visited the quantum realm, just like Janet Van Dyne did, you know, and that would also explain why, if they are from the 60s or whatever, that they didn't age much, you know, or whatever, because they were there, because time is different there. They already explained that when Ant-Man returned. Remember, he said he was only down there, felt like he was down there for 5 minutes, but they said he was down there for 5 years.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? So time is different. If they do continue those storyline threads of telling it like that, that's going to be very interesting, because they can do a lot of different things with that. Hopefully the writers remain creative with that. But even to mix in Victor Von Doom, if he somehow tagged along without them knowing, you know what I mean, and went down there and got powers from down there as well. Not saying that they should deviate, but one thing that the MCU likes to do as opposed to the comics is they'll present you with familiar things that you've known from the characters, but they find different ways to tell the story so it's fresh.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I do give them credit for that, because that's an important thing to do, because you wouldn't want to know everything that's going to happen before it happens. There's no sense to go to see the movie, right?
Yeah.
So I think that that's going to be something that they can play with big time. But again, like if he is behind getting the Atlanteans and the Wakandans to fight, and this whole thing about that dead Eternal that's out there in the ocean and everything, and he wants to get that adamantium. You got Deadpool now, who's going to be out there crossing universes and realities and stuff. It's like, dude, can you imagine the chaos?
It's going to be sick. It's going to be sick, man. There's even I don't know how this happened, but there's a council of Deadpools.
Oh,
I'm like, what the hell?
I ain't heard of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. One of them, there's a Galactus Deadpool. I'm like, how did that happen? And you know, I mean, they can't jump that far ahead. I don't know how that happened, but there's a Galactus Deadpool. And it's like, what the hell's going on here? So this thing with the Council of Kangs, at the climax of that, you might mess around and find out that he was working with the greater power, and that greater power might have been Dr. Doom. He might have been using his technology.
Did you notice, like, in Quantumania when they were showing all the damn Kangs?
Matter of fact, one of the Kangs that showed up, he came up dressed like Dr. Doom. It was weird. I saw that in the theater. I said, yo, wasn't that one that came up and turned around? He was dressed like Dr. Doom. I was like, man, you know what? We don't know what we're going to get, man. We don't know what we're going to get.
That is wild, man.
That
is
Kang
totally wild.
He's an offspring of Dr. Doom from generations somewhere. They'll do that. They'll do something weird like that.
Yeah, instead of being an offspring of Reed Richards.
Right. You mess around.
Even though his name is Franklin, right? They could switch it.
They can. I just can't wait to see. I mean, it's limitless, man. It's limitless. And I honestly think they have the tools and the proper writers in position not to goof this up. Because this Dr. Doom is he's a special character, man. He's a special character, and they absolutely cannot drop this ball. If they drop the ball,
at the end credit scene at the end of Multiverse of Madness, when Charlize Theron's character comes in and tells Stephen Strange she needs him to come with her. I think that they are going to be hopping universes trying to stop these collapses of the universes, because when he crossed over, it started what they call them, those incursions.
Yeah.
And, even though his situation with Wanda and everything, that they completed that process, but some other things were still affected as a result because they did cross through those worlds. You know what I mean? And I think that might be how Deadpool gets in too, because they're going to find a way because he crossed through these worlds. And, but it's amazing. And I would hate for us, like we're having this conversation on these wonderful characters right now, but I would hate for the writers to not be as creative as we are imaginative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That they don't do the things that they could do and deliver for us.
I think what we have.
You know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree totally. I think what we have, as far as that's concerned, is the people that are in charge, that are financing these things and giving the thumbs up and thumbs down on these things. They're actually fans like us. They're fans. And I think that they've learned to pay close attention to who they give creative control with, or to rather, because Phase 4 was such a debacle, and they're lucky that it didn't collapse everything that they worked for. I want to say that they learned from that by way of sales.
I don't know.
And public outcry.
I'm kind of on the fence because I've heard they've already talked about a She-Hulk season 2, and they talk about the Marvels season 2, Miss Marvel season 2.
Well, you're right. And hopefully, the difference in She-Hulk 2, because now you can't get rid of the character. You have to expand on what the hell we saw at the very end in that last episode. But hopefully, a season 2 will be like the difference between when you saw Iron Fist season 1, which was, all right, I dealt with it. And Iron Fist season 2 was a lot better. Luke Cage season 1 and Luke Cage season 2 was a lot better. They weren't season 1s weren't horrible, but the season 2s was like, oh, okay, they fixed a lot. So hopefully they get some new writers and say, okay, look, we read Twitter and we couldn't stand it. There's a lot of let's get some guys in here to fix this. We got to fix this. and hopefully, and by the way, I can do without She-Hulk being the fourth member of the Fantastic Four, because she was a fourth member for a little while in the comic book.
And I can do without her twerking and stuff too.
Yeah, please. Oh God.
And we never did find out why Banner or how he healed his arm. You know what I'm saying? How could you skip over that major plot device? Banner arm was in a sling when we last saw him in Avengers Endgame. Yeah. And then when he appeared in that post-credit scene of Shang-Chi with the Council of Avengers that were talking with Shang-Chi, his arm, he was Banner, but he was still in a sling. Remember?
So how much time had passed before the She-Hulk thing happened? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot. They just used that character to goof around, and to the Fleminists, y'all should be ashamed of that, because that series was a debacle. That series is a debacle, and I don't even like the fact that Daredevil was in it. I saw it in the attraction, and I said, "Oh, okay." You know, they bring it back the old uniform, but they dumbed him down in that. You know, the walk of shame after he banged her, and it's like, come on, bro. I don't need all of this.
I didn't need to see that either, man.
So what they need to do, with the good part about things like this is all you need is a new writer that can bridge the story, do a recap of the important parts, and then say, okay, this is what we're doing now, and make it more serious.
They even wasted Abomination, remember?
They wasted the Wrecking Crew. Do you know how hard-hitting the Wrecking Crew is in the comic books? The Wrecking Crew? Do you know how hard-hitting those guys are?
Yeah, in that series, they made them look like a group of morons.
They were a bunch of morons. I mean, come on, how do you do that? How do you do that? I thought they were going to be morons at first and then go through like a change, but you said that they're bringing the leader in. He could get a hold of them and make them into the hard hitters that they are in the comic book.
Yeah.
Bulldozer, Pile Driver, the guy with the crowbar, I forget his name. But you know, I mean, come on, man. They downplayed them so much, man, and it was aggravating, because you know, when you watch them, and you're like, okay, I know who this character is, and I'm like, why is he acting like that? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man, stop this. You know, so the playtime is over. You know, the rematch with Banner and Abomination. I mean, come on, bro. And then she breaks the fourth wall, and it's not in a. She breaks the fourth wall in the comic books. To mind you.
Right.
I don't mind it sometimes. Deadpool does that. But when he does it, it's actually
multiple
funny.
characters breaking the fourth wall.
Exactly. They need to do it one good time, so we know that she does it, and that's it. Like when she breaks the fourth wall, they could cut the Deadpool and be like, I don't know who she's talking to, and then go right back to She-Hulk, and then that'll be the end of it. Do something like that. But that She-Hulk, that has zero replay value. I watched it. I got through the whole series and I was disgusted. I said, this was horrible. This was horrible.
Check it out. I didn't get a chance to tell you, but I got Secret Wars. I mean, not Secret Wars, Secret Invasion and Loki season 1 on Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. I got it off of International, and you know, I've been watching them again, you know, not watching them on Disney, but just watching them again. And you know, they haven't made the disc available in America yet, so I've been enjoying those. But
there's deleted scenes.
Loki, huh?
There's deleted scenes.
No, these are the full season.
Oh, okay, all right.
Series Loki and Secret Invasion.
Right.
Supposedly they're gonna be releasing WandaVision and one of the other series. I don't know if it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I know it's WandaVision coming up this fall. They're supposed to be releasing those in America on disc. But see, they've been taking too long, and I just exercised my opportunity to get them, you know, internationally.
one thing that I took from the WandaVision, which was well done. If you're watching it, you're like, what the hell's going on here? But when they got down to the nooks and crannies of things, I was like, oh, okay. And I like how they brought back Vision. Who's out there now? He's out there. Yeah. He's coming back now. And that's kind of like what happened in the comic, kind of. But he's out there now.
And what was really cool about that too was this. If you notice, like every couple of episodes, like they changed the era, right? That she was in. You know, they went through like the I Love Lucy era. Then it was like what the
80s enough, the 70s.
80s enough, then Family Ties.
Yep.
You know, what I realized about that was if you go back and watch some of the content that Wanda appears in, it was explained that she and her brothers, all they did was sit up and watch old TV shows.
Yeah.
So when she created her reality according to her fondness with certain television fare and stuff. Yeah. That's why that was done like that.
Yep.
You know?
That was awesome. There's so many directions that they can go. And I'm reading y'all in the chat. Salute to y'all in the chat. We haven't even gotten to the Beyonders yet. Whom, I might add, Doom stole their power too in a comic book at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy just steals everything. And I'm like, how did he do that? He stole Asgardian. I remember in one comic, he lifted Thor's hammer. I'm like, come on. How's he doing this?
And did you hear that the Watcher is gonna come into live action, and it's gonna be Jeffrey Wright too.
Wow.
Yeah, they're gonna bring him in as a Watcher.
We briefly saw Watchers. We saw Watchers in the MCU. Was real brief.
That end credit scene when Stan Lee was talking.
Stan Lee, yeah. We saw him, but they're gonna bring him in again. Yeah. And Marvel's really good at bridging gaps, but again, it's all in the writing. And we're saying all of that to say this. You have an opportunity here. And Dr. Doom is one of the baddest characters that you can have on your roster. You cannot. Dare I say, he can be what they call an omega threat, a mega level threat. He's that damn dangerous. And with the things we have going on now, you know, with that Eternal in the middle of the ocean with adamantium on there, with all the crossovers happening now, sky's the limit. Okay, you can get characters from everywhere.
Speaking of Watcher, I'm going to share this about Doom. He sent it to me in the email. He said, you can use this if you like. And I saw it already, but when he sent it to me, I was like, okay, Watcher, I'll take you up on that. So I thought I would pull this up.
Oh, man. Do y'all know what y'all looking at? Yo, listen.
Tell them what this is all about. Some of you may have to increase the size of your screen to see this, and I'll increase mine
I'll give you the short version. That's Thanos. Thanos is
Thanos meeting Dr. Doom.
Meeting Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom. And Thanos is what we call an omega level threat. As you can see, and I will give the MCU universe credit because they brought him to life exactly how he is in the book. There was some changes to the story, but he's that bad. Because I told people when I figured out they were doing the what you call the Infinity Wars, I said, yo, in the book, y'all know Thanos wins. And I said that way before this thing, when it got started. I said, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but Thanos won. And what happened in the movies? He won. Thanos won. They had to go back in time to fix it, but he won. He did the snap, and it was over. People started this. That's just how it happened in the book. People started vanishing. Only difference is Spider-Man didn't vanish in the book. He didn't vanish, but he won. Thanos won. So now he have
these couple of panels here. And I'll read it for those who can't see it. It's Dr. Doom speaking to Thanos. He says, And do you have an infinity gauntlet now? And Thanos responds, I do not. Yet I remain Thanos, the great tyrant. And for you, that will be enough. And Doom sticks his fist into Thanos' chest and grabs his spine and turns Thanos to a skeleton and tells him, that appears untrue.
Boom. Now, mind you, you gotta read that book to find out how that happened. But Doom wouldn't talk spicy if he couldn't back it up. He just killed Thanos in this panel, y'all. I don't know if this is 616 or whatever, but there's something called the Doom Wars. If you can find it, what's the channel on here that we follow, Stormy? There's 2 channels. Comics Explained and what's the other, the brother Comics Explained? And there's another brother that narrates comic books too. I forget it, but I'm subscribed to both of them. I can't
think of his name right now.
Yeah, but they narrate all of these books. I'm telling you, and they do a damn good job. Shout out to them. But man,
that is crazy, and the artwork is excellent, man.
Oh man,
it's like because it just paints the image of what you're seeing. It's like hands down, that is just amazing. Look at that. He's not even looking at him. He stuck his hand in his chest and was like,
killed him.
That appears
killed him.
Untrue.
Killed him, man. Killed him. And this is Comic Storian. That's him, Chi-Town's finest. That's him. Comic Storian. That's another guy. He narrates the comics. He does a damn good job too. Thank you. But man, this guy, this Dr. Doom is a beast. And and no one's really talking about him, but when you incorporate the Fantastic Four, you cannot do that. Matter of fact, when you incorporate Namor, because Namor's not a villain, but he was an anti-hero when they introduced him. Because he's down in Atlantis with his people minding his business, and we up here creating all this ruckus, and it spills into this ocean, and that's what pissed him off. Gotta understand, in Wakanda Forever, he came up. And they didn't even know. Remember, the mother was like, how'd you get here? And he pretty much told you, we've been here the whole time.
Yeah, their defenses and everything meant nothing.
It meant nothing. He was like, yeah, we've been here the whole time.
He came up out of the swimming pool.
He basically was telling them, whatever y'all got going on here, stop it. Because you're pissing me off. I'm down here trying to sleep. and y'all, and it's like, whoa, where were you? When we fighting Thanos and everything else, he really didn't want anything to do with anything. And remember the scene in that same scene, she made reference to vibranium, and she told her mother, she said he's drenched in it. It's like, yeah, we've been playing with vibranium. And what? And what? So I mean, look, man. When you incorporate one of the Marvel supervillain team ups, the book, it was Submariner and Dr. Doom. They had a something called Marvel Team Up, and the first one that I seen that was a Marvel supervillain team up was Namor and Dr. Doom. Let's see if I can find that. Marvel Team Up supervillain.
There you go. That piece right there.
There you go. Save image. Yep. There you go. Let me see if I can pull that up there. Oh man, that is hardcore, man. Look at that. Let me see if I can pull this up.
Yeah, I love that one there. That's like, man, there's like power and darkness and everything on display in this one here.
Let me see.
Amazing artwork, man.
There we go. Okay. That's the one I remember. Back when it was 50 cents. I mean, it's a long time ago. You can pull that up right there. Giant size supervillain team up. Namor and Dr. Doom.
Yeah, I'm gonna increase my screen size so I can see the cover a little better.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that right there. That's I had this book. My brother had this book. Wonder what he did with it.
That team right there is worthy of an army.
It is. It is. But that goes to show you. That goes to show you, man. And by the way, that outfit, that was a outfit that they made for Namor in a comic book, but they brought it back when he became a member of the Illuminati. Namor was a part of the Illuminati. That's another story for another time. But yeah, that right there is serious right there. Oh yeah, yeah. Had that book. I don't remember anything about the story though. This is super old. 68 pages, man. You know, I'm gonna call my brother and see if he finds that. See if he can. I think he has this because I know I saw it. But that man, Doom is a sinister threat, man.
Big time.
Oh, pull up what Judah Ben said. I know that story. I know that story, bro. That is hilarious, man. Oh my God.
Salute to Judah Ben Israel out there in that super chat. He says, yo, remember Luke Cage beat up Doom over $200?
Yo, first of all, that story is hilarious. There's a story where Dr. Doom acquired the services of Luke Cage, and he offered to pay him $200 to do something frivolous, and he didn't pay him. And he went back to Latvia, wherever he's from. Luke Cage pretty much stalked him all the way back there, and there was like a rebellion on the island. And it got crazy, Stormy. Like, he went there looking for his $200, and there's like a group of people saying we have to rise up and overthrow Victor Von Doom because he helps them create a rebellion. I mean, with guns and pitchforks and everything, they to the castle, whatever. And he says, "Yeah, and I want my $200, man." And he ran up and Victor Von Doom was like, "Yo, all of this." Because I didn't get this guy $200 fucking dollars, and he eventually paid him. That was the funny part. The book came out like in 1970 something. It was crazy,
dude. I need to see that story.
Oh my God, it was funny, man. It was funny.
I need to see that story.
Oh my God, man.
And salute to Judah back in the super chat. He says, then took the Fantastic Four jet after beating their ass.
After beating their ass for fun. He was over there when I for rebellion. He wanted his money. And he took the Fantastic Four jet, man. It was crazy. Matter of fact, Comics Explains, he talked about that book. It is funny. Let me see if I can find it so I can send you the link.
Dude,
oh my God, it's funny, man.
On that. I need to see that. I need to see that, man.
That was funny, man.
That brother was serious about his $200.
He said, "Yeah, I want my $200." And how it's written. How it's written was funny. He's like, "Yeah, man, I want my $200, blood." It was crazy. Comics Explained. All right, I'm going to his. All right, I'm on his page. Man, that brother's doing well. Sidebar. When I found his channel, he had about 500,000 subs. That brother is at 2.26 million subs now. Woo!
Yeah.
And when he goes to comic conventions, I mean, he damn near has to have his own booth. His name is Rob. Let me see. Power Man versus Dr. Boom. Let me see. I know it's here. Oh man. I think this is it. Let me see. No. This is Luke Cage. Let me put $200. It's a silly ass book. I'll find it. I ain't gonna look for it now, but I'll find it. I'll send it.
Doom. It's not about the money. It's about the principle.
About the principle. And Luke Cage stalked his head, man. That was funny, man. But I remember that book. But then when he talked about it on that channel, I was rolling, man. I was like, yo, he really did that. I want my $200, sucker. It was funny, man. Oh my God.
Oh,
that's funny. But Dr. Doom, man, this guy, he's epic, man. Like I just I just put up let me see. All of these comics that came up, you know, Fantastic Four, Namor. This character, man, is something fierce, and they cannot, I repeat, they cannot goof this up, because the MCU right now is in they're in a very, very particular part in that universe where they can go in any direction. And to incorporate Dr. Doom right now, you cannot mess this up. Please don't downplay him. You know, I actually figured, Stormy, they would incorporate Dr. Doom before they incorporated Kang. You know, but it kind of made sense. It kind of made sense. But Dr. Doom, oh my gosh, he could, like I said, this Kang thing is Omega level, but we could have it all wrong. And right by Secret Wars, we could find out that Dr. Doom has really been the one pulling on the damn strings.
The strings, yeah. You know, just like Thanos. You know?
Yeah. We didn't know anything
for the Infinity Stones the whole time.
Time. And we didn't know what was going on until after the first Avengers film. We didn't know what was happening. And all of those movies led up to that moment. And I remember, do you remember in the theaters, the post-credit scene after the first Avengers? And you're watching, and the guy said they can't be tamed. The humans are unruly. They can't be tamed. And then he got up and turned and smiled at the screen. I was like, oh, shit. Thanos would say it's over. My father at that point didn't know.
But you know what was interesting that people didn't catch on to? The beginning of the movie, when it opens and it says the Tesseract, and they're showing the other is talking to Thanos, but we don't know it's Thanos he's talking to. We're just hearing his voice over, and he says, our Chitauri, he will lead our army, the Chitauri, you know, and the world will be his, the Tesseract yours, and this and that. And what can they do but burn? That was the opening part of the movie, but we never saw Thanos.
Right.
And then when Loki was sitting there and I don't know if he transitioned or something to where the other was, and they were having a conversation, and he was saying like, you got to get this done. He was like, we didn't give you this scepter for you not to be able to, you know, because that scepter had that power of the stone in it, right?
Right.
But when they pointed to the stairs would lead up to Thanos, but they still didn't show him until the end credits.
Right.
You know? So it was sprinkled throughout the movie, and most people didn't catch on to that until the film ended.
Right, but when they showed him at the end, I remember leaving the theater with my dad, and by then, you know, he kind of knew, but he was like, well, who is that guy? And I said, Dad, listen, in the book, he won. He actually, you know, got the stones, got the glove, and snapped, and people disappeared. He won. And he won in the movies. He won.
Remember
5 years.
In Age of Ultron, when Wanda was giving everybody these bad visions of a future and stuff, and you remember what Stark's was, right?
Him on the floor and everyone dead.
Everybody dead. Everybody laid out. Cap's broken shield.
Yep.
Everything. And it did come to pass.
Yeah.
Everything that he saw in that vision did come to pass.
It sure
and that's
did,
what
man.
drove Stark to become maniacal about wanting a suit of armor to protect the world and all of that stuff. So, you know, there were elements of that story being told and played out that if you were just watching the movie, chewing on your popcorn, saying, "Oh, the next action scene," but there were things that were sprinkled throughout there that was telling a story over the course of many films. And even when people go back and watch them all, they're still not getting everything. It's like when I told you about my thoughts about eventually when Stark meets Rocket Raccoon. I was like, there's going to be something funny as hell, because to see a talking raccoon, I wonder how Tony Stark is going to respond to that, right? And dude, listen, I could not have dreamed of a better line of dialogue between the two, the exchange, because by the time it had happened, remember, Stark had lost everything. He lost Peter. He lost the battle to Thanos. He was on another world, lost in space, starving. He was about to die.
Yep.
Okay, so he comes back. Captain Marvel brings him back to Earth and everything. And they're sitting around talking about everything. And freaking Rocket says something. And he looks over and says, "Wait a minute, for a moment there, I thought you were a Build-A-Bear." and Rocket just,
"Maybe I am."
Yeah, maybe I am. But what people didn't get was this. And I explained it to you already. But what people didn't get was Tony was like too tired mentally and physically. He was just, now a talking raccoon. That's basically,
it's like, what the hell?
There. But when Rocket said, "Well, maybe I am," that goes back to the Guardians films, where they called him everything under the sun. Quill called him a raccoon, and he didn't even know what a raccoon was at that time, because they had messed with his mind and everything. So he didn't know what's a raccoon. Quill was like, you idiot." Then Drax called him creepy little beast. Remember?
Yep.
And then Nebula called him a fox. "You gonna leave me here with that fox?" Remember, she was. Yeah. So all these different things they was calling him. So when Stark finally says, "Oh, wait a minute, for a moment there, I thought you were a Build-A-Bear," and he said, "Well, maybe I am." That was just after being called everything.
He's been called everything.
That's why it's so freaking funny, though, bro. See, but you see what I'm saying? It's like you would have had to watch the films to catch that line of dialogue. Just like when Thor was sitting there in Infinity War, and he was talking about, "Well, my brother got killed, then I lost my mom, then my dad died." He was sitting there. He wiped away a single tear. He was like, "But I'm good."
He said, "But I'm good."
It's like,
man,
everything happened to this dude, man.
What else, man? What else? and here's the thing.
Oh my goodness.
The Secret Wars is about to happen. That's about to happen. The Secret Wars is about to happen. And I remember in Secret Wars where there was two things that happened. Stormy, you remember the book Contest of Champions?
I remember it, but I didn't read it.
Yeah, my brother has those books. That was really deep. It was all the heroes and all the villains versus each other on different, it was like it was like you picked a certain team, and I'm talking about A characters and B characters fighting each other. It was dope. The Secret Wars was a little different. The story was like in depth. And I remember, I think it was Secret Wars. I don't think it was Contest of Champions, where all the villains was in a room. Well, all the heroes was in one room in the book. And you see everybody. I gotta call my brother, because when you open up the page, it was 2 pages. And every hero in the Marvel universe you could think was in one room. And they were looking around like, what the hell? Right? And then I think the next book, or later on in that same book, it was the villains. So everyone was flying around like, what is going on? I was just in New York, and now I snap, and now I'm here in this room. What's going on? And something happens, and no, you know what, Stormy? It was Secret Wars, and I'm gonna tell you why I remember. Because everyone's flying around like, what's going on? And they don't realize, they look around, they're saying, what is this shit I'm leaning on? And it's a foot. And you look all the way up, it's Galactus. And everyone's like, yo, wait a minute. And only a few people knew who he was. It was like, yo, what the F? Is he about to eat this planet? We got to get out of here. And he looks up, and he's looking up, and everyone's like, yo, what is he looking at? And he's just looking up. Ultron is flying around. I'm the superior being. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. And he meant it. And then he was like, and what's this? He's looking at Galactus. And he flies up. And he's like, yeah, maybe I'll do this to you first. And Galactus, and people are looking like, he don't know that. He don't know. Some people that knew, they were like, yo, he don't know what that guy is. They're like, yo, we might want to back up. So then he did something to get his attention. And you see Galactus just looks down with his eyes. And Ultron's this big. And he looks down at him. And everyone's looking up like, oh, shit. And then he's like, yo, maybe I'll take your energy. And then his hand goes up and he goes over Ultron. Sucks all the energy out of him. The shell falls, boom. You ain't see Ultron for the rest of the damn book. Suck the energy right out of him. But here's why I brought that up. He falls, and everyone's like, oh, shit. He just killed Ultron. It's over. Because Ultron was the problem. Ultron was like he's a problem. Like, he could duplicate himself and he's a problem. Galactus just killed him, so he looks back up, and they're like, what is he looking at? And then he says, you Beyonder. And everyone's looking up like, what is it? What is he talking about? And he does this whole monologue about the Beyonder, and everyone's like, what is he talking about? He takes off flying, and who chases after him? Doom. He's the only one that knew what he was talking to. How did he know? How did he know? And he flies off and hangs onto his boot, and it turns out Dr. Doom was a major player in Secret Wars. He's the only, I think it was during that book, he stole the Beyonder's power. I'm like, how does he do this shit? He's a threat. The whole time, everyone's looking around like, yo, what's going on? Wait, oh my God, I know him. He's a villain. He's a super villain. And this Juggernaut's running around. Kane Marker's running around. The Absorbing Man's walking around. The Wrecking Crew was there. All these villains that were in different parts of the world and universe, they all end up in this one spot. They're like, yo, how'd I get here? And everyone's like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? They're like, what is this? And they look up and they see Galactus, the size of the Empire State Building. It was crazy. But Dr. Doom, when Galactus flew off, Dr. Doom was like, yeah, okay, I know what he's doing. And he flew after him. I'm gonna get a hold of my brother still has all of these books. Now I remember reading it, but my point is, Dr. Doom, out of all of those villains in that spot, he's the only one that knew what was going on. He's the only one. This is why, and in the book, he became a major player, and I think he stole the Beyonder's power. I haven't. It's been a while. I have to look at it again. But this guy did all of that. He stole the Beyonder's power. He was instrumental in that mix. This is how dangerous this guy is. And Marvel has an opportunity to do right by this character. Please do not goof this up. Don't have him like a one-hitter quitter in this movie. Don't do him like that. Please get it right.
They cast this Asian guy to be Sentry. Did you hear about that?
I did. How does that work? Isn't there's an Asian character? I think he's Korean, who's like Sentry level type of power in the comic books. I forget his name.
Yeah, but they're saying that this dude is gonna be Sentry though. It's like,
all right, well, let's see how it works.
You know who I thought would be a perfect Sentry? Perfect. That dude, Alexander Skarsgård, who played Tarzan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He would have
Hey.
been perfect as Sentry.
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see what they do. We're gonna see what they do, man. Because goodness, man. Detroit D-Town says, any good movies with Doctor Doom? Unfortunately, no. They messed him up every time. The rebooted Fantastic Four. The best part about that film was the CGI they did for The Thing. That was the best part of that film. And the two Marvel films, with the one with the Silver Surfer, they brought back Doom for both of those films. Didn't do them any justice at all. Those were just bad films.
But even that Fox film Thing didn't look like The Thing. He just looked like a rock man. Yeah, and I do believe that when Marvel does The Thing, they're gonna make him look like the Thing from the comics. I do believe they're gonna do that.
Which one?
Huh?
Which Thing? Because when they first made the character, he looked like a molten rock dude. And then I liked him when John Byrne started drawing him. He looked really good.
The Thing with the rock eyebrows.
With the rock eyebrows.
Yeah, I think that's the one, because he needs to look a little different from Korg.
Yeah.
You know, because Korg is a rock man too.
Let me pull this up. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me see. Let's see. The best. I like John Byrne when he drew The Thing, but
I loved him when he drew Captain America for a couple of years.
Yeah,
I thought that Captain America looked the best. I love the way he did his shield, because he made it look actually like circular and kind of like a disc. John Byrne's artwork was incredible, man.
I remember John Byrne did he did a comic where the Herald of Galactics, Terrax the Tamer, came to Earth. And
see, like, look at what's his name from Michael Chilkis. He looked more like the Thing from the comics than the guy in the Fantastic Four from Fox, the updated Fantastic Four film.
Yeah. You see, I didn't like this.
And that concept art of the Thing that says Hulk in the background on there from Disney, that looks a little bit more like the comic book Thing as well.
Yeah.
That's hey, and did you hear that he was originally gonna appear in the She-Hulk series, but then they decided not to put him in there? So I think that's concept art of how Ben Grimm was supposed to look. See, that doesn't look too much like him.
No. I hated this. I ain't even gonna hold you. I hated that.
Yeah, the 5'8" Ben Grimm didn't do too good to me, man.
They can make him look like this. This was all right. I remember I was watching John Byrne when he drew the Terrax the Tamer fought the Fantastic Four, and the Silver Surfer had to come down and help them. And he actually killed Terrax in that book. But goddamn, this is a bust. I saw this at a comic store in New York.
Yeah. This
right here is dope. I like that.
Yeah, if they can make it look like that, that's more comic accurate to me.
There's this guy also had a Wolverine like bust of a head. It was, oh man, it was.
Go back up to the one with the She-Hulk Disney Plus image of the Thing.
Let me go back. This one right here.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, it's not.
That's not bad.
It's not. It's not bad at all. It's not bad. It's not bad. But to insert him in the She-Hulk series, that would have been a downer. Because then it's gonna leave you with wanting more. You know what I mean? This trying to find John Byrne's thing. This was close to what John Byrne, how he used to draw him. That right there.
Yeah.
That's close.
That would really be cool if they can make him look like that for the film.
Yeah.
Because that's comic accurate, right?
That's comic accurate right there. That's comic accurate. It's a cool character, man. It's a very cool character, man. But Dr. Doom, man, you can't flirt around with the Fantastic Four without bringing up Dr. Doom. You absolutely have to bring that about properly. You know, and
they say that picture that you got of him right there on the side there, that they say that's a Alex Ross depiction of the Thing.
Where at?
That right there where it says Fantastic Four at the bottom of
that's Alex Ross?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Oh shit, yeah, it says right there. I didn't even notice that. Wow.
That man is an amazing artist, bro.
Alex Ross paints it. Yeah, that damn sure is.
He's an amazing artist, bro.
Man, Alex Ross, boy. Woo. Man, when he was at the comic convention, he sold that that Justice League poster that he painted. He sold that to someone for $5,000 right there on the spot. Signed. Took a picture with it. This was years ago.
Yeah. That's an amazing piece of work too. Yeah, but let's get ready to wrap things up, man, because I know you got to do your show.
Oh, yeah. I forgot I had to do a damn show. Man, salute to you for this, man. And trust me, man, we could do this like Captain America. Where's the Captain America? We could do this all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I thought that, you know, this is a profile of a ultimate villain, Dr. Doom. We could do profiles of other characters from the comics as well. But this is just another way of further extending the content that we can bring for a discussion on the show. So,
you know, we can also, like, as story arcs reveal themselves in the MCU, we can also point out the differences from the silver screen and what it was in the book.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm gonna have to dig into crates because I got a lot, and that Secret Wars is coming up. So I'm gonna ask my brother, can I borrow some of his books?
I want to say this. We could go retro with it too, since MCU stories that have already taken place, and I'll keep this in mind for a future episode. I want to talk about Captain America: Civil War, the difference between the book and the movie, because they put some stuff in the book. I mean, in the movie that was pretty cool, and then they did some stuff in the books that were, you know, you just couldn't recreate that in the movie. So it's like
even the thing in the series, the Winter Soldier in the Falcon series, the Flag Smasher was an actual character. It wasn't a group. Flag Smasher was an actual character. It was a dope character too. But we're gonna get to it, man. In Detroit D-Town, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. This is what we do here every Monday here. Absolutely.
Yes,
I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Sir, man.
Salute, man. This is another great episode, man. Love some Dr. Doom, man. And
absolutely,
you know, we definitely gonna revisit. I love the comic book talk, man. Definitely gonna revisit a lot of this stuff, man. And salute, man. And I can't wait for next week, brother. For real.
Absolutely. And thank everybody that came out today. Share the show so other people can know that we out here doing this, man, because we had a nice audience tonight. It was in the 30s, which was pretty damn good, you know.
Terrific.
So I just want to say thanks to everybody, the super chats that came in, and peace to everybody. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we're gonna catch you guys again on another Nerds on Culture. And this is what we do. We love it. We like the fact that you guys love it as well. And just, you know, keep supporting us, man. We're going to keep bringing it because this is what it's all about, man. We're all nerds, man. Yeah, we're all nerds. So at the end of the day, but peace to everybody. And take this energy on over to Drew Titans for some pep talk this evening. Painful
over there right now.
Peace, everybody.
Yes, sir.